we are, day 3 on my family history walk. This time I'm in Storrington. I'm going to go to Sullington and Warminghurst and Washington if I'm in the mood. I'm outside St Mary's Church here in Storrington. Pevsner didn't think much of this place. He thought the only historically important part of it was one of the doors. Just having a look on this memorial here, and it's a war memorial, and there's the name Lidbetter again. Not sure if it's a direct ancestor, but that is the name that's common in my family in this area. What have we got round this side? Nope, nobody there. These ones are indecipherable. It's a nice little spot up here. Churches are always built on high ground, it seems here. They take the, I guess because they were so early, they could get the best real estate. See if they're open. Good morning. Hello.
Good morning.
Hello. Just having a little look around. I don't have a lot of information about my family in Storrington. The name has come up a few times in this area, but I think it was more to do with businesses and employment and work they did here rather than living and marrying and dying here. I want to have a look around Storrington, see what this place looks like. The name Storrington apparently comes from it being known as the place of storks. So what I'm going to do now is head towards Sullington, and because there's just a lot more of my family history there. There's some here in Storrington, but it's really busy and there wasn't much in the churchyard to keep me there, so some guy tooting the horn at me. I really can't believe the traffic here at Storrington. I've now entered Sullington, but most of the traffic's going to Storrington, and it's just horrendous. Like Pulborough, they need a bypass. So this is where I leave the Washington Road. Storrington's behind me, and I'll be very glad to get away from this very, very busy road. Heading to Sullington. Now, I do know that I've had many ancestors who have lived and worked and died here in Sullington. On the map, it's a tiny little place, and seeing it from the distance, it's even smaller. The Braden name must have been very common here back in the 19th century because it's all over the records, all over the parish records and births, deaths and marriages. Little Sullington. Kind of nice in the rain too. Now it says here there's a place called the Cafe at the Old Workshop, just up ahead here. Cafe out here. I already had lunch, but I didn't think there was anything out here. There's the sign for cafe straight ahead. I wonder if it's open. Sullington Old Rectory, Sullington Manor, St Mary's Church. Alright, looks like all the action's happening to the left. We're open 10 AM to 4 PM. Thursday to Sunday. The cafe. Doesn't look terribly open. If there's anywhere that feels like it's back in time, this is it. How wonderful. Sullington Tithe Barn. Ooh, it looks like somebody's house. I'm gonna have a look at the church first. It's just a little tiny church. Very simple. And that yew tree there dates from the 9th century. And the church has Saxon foundations. Sign on the door, or near the door, says it's about 1050. So that's what, 1050, 16, about 16 years before the Norman conquest. What a strange place this is. It's just over here. There's ongoing agriculture. There's someone's big storage barn there, and they've got bales of hay in there. Look at this. Just across there. There it is. Doors unlocked. Oh, I can get in. Okay, wow. Let's get the door. Wow. It's so dark. I've got a list of names here of family members who lived in this little tiny village. There's Henry Braden, born 1846. George, there's always a George, 1869. Emma, 1879. William George, 1875. William George Braden was my great-grandfather. We've got a Crusader grave right here. They don't know exactly who it is, but they think it's someone from the Covert family. And his legs were crossed, indicating that he was a knight present at the Siege of Acre. And at the Siege of Acre, there is a document saying that there was a de Covert. His family were the local lords of the manor here. Very, very small manor this is. But this would have been the old part. Maybe the old altar was right here. Because this has Saxon origins, and the ceiling is quite high too. If you look up, you probably can't see it anyway, it's too dark. But it's a very, very high ceiling for such a small church, and you do get that with Saxon churches. Let's go back outside and have another look at the cemetery. Lidbetter, Frank Edward Lidbetter. The Lidbetters strike again. That's, I think, in 3 churchyards now I found them. Yeah, there was a lot of connections between the Bradens and the Lidbetters. Oh, the weather's really turned. It's actually nice to have the wet weather now after weeks and weeks of heat and heat waves. And Messenger. Now that's a name I've come across in my family tree, the last name of Messenger. I don't know who these people are. 2 more Lidbetters over there as well. That guy's name there is Richard Stiff. Has anyone told the Stiffy joke yet? Yes. So that's Sullington. I want to try and get to Warminghurst now. Bit of a walk from here. A lot of my family lived up there. It's a very tiny place. I think it's like 2 houses. On my way to Warminghurst, there's no direct route really to get there, at least on foot, but I'm going to try and use a combination of roads, lanes and public footpaths to get there. Because some of these roads here, they're not very wide, they are very busy. Thankfully there's a footpath here, so I'm away from the traffic, but it may not always be so. This here is Strawberry Lane. It's a really handy trackway passing through the countryside. Gets me off those busy roads, and also the rain stopped for a while, so that's good. It's a bit slippery on the ground here. Okay, a little bit of sunlight coming out as well. This is Warminghurst. I think it's only 2 or 3 houses and a church. I'll see if the church is open. Look how dark and forbidding that road is down there. I might just have a quick look after I have a look at the church. Wow. Welcome to the Holy Sepulchre at Warminghurst. Warminghurst Church is no longer in service and is vested to the care of the church's Conservation Trust. I was just reading up on this church. It dates to the early 13th century, and what's truly unique about it is that the Victorian church restorers didn't get their hands on it. What you're seeing here is a church that looks like what it would have looked like pretty much from the 13th century onwards. The pews would be later. I mean, even these look really, really old. The old style pews where you open up a little door and go in. You have a family sitting in here. There's an oculus up there. You can see the round thing up there. It's called an oculus. Actually provides a nice bit of light down here through the nave. I've got some information here on an old lectern, and it says that the bell housed in the steeple and not visible is one of the oldest in the country, dating from 1180. So that would mean that the bell predates the church, because the church is supposed to be about 1220, even though they think there was an earlier church on the site. The bell predates the current church. And this is unusual here. It says the church has some of the oldest timbers in southeast England, and they're giving a date of 1160. But again, if the church was built in about 1220, then what was the timber doing before it was incorporated into the church? James Braden, born in 1769 here. Now, his name was spelt B-R-A-D-E-N before the I was put in, which is very interesting. And then Elizabeth, born in 1774. So they were brother and sister, James and Elizabeth. If they were born here, I guess they were baptised in this church. This is an unusual church, this one. It doesn't look quite like any of the other ones I've been into, mainly because it wasn't messed with by the Victorians. You know what, I think that'll do it now. I've seen all of these places where my family have lived and worked and were buried, and it's been wonderful. 3 days of really getting out there across the West Sussex countryside and seeing these extraordinary churches. So I'll end the journey here at Warminghurst. That's right. So thanks for watching these videos. I really hope you did like them. If you like the channel, please consider liking and subscribing, and I'll see you again soon. Now that that's done, I'm going to have a look at this little lane down here, because it looks so mysterious and dark and inviting and terrifying. It's called Park Lane.